Hello again and welcome back to week 22 of my pregnancy fitness video diaries. I thought, as I am now at the 5-month mark, unbelievably, I would just do a bit of an update and a catch up on various aspects of my pregnancy. So looking back, I re-watched the first video I made when it was explaining what this video series would be about, and I said, you know, this is not going to be an exact how-to of pregnancy, mainly because every pregnancy is so unique, everybody's different, and there's no way of prescribing exactly what everybody should be doing, which is why I like to work with small groups or one-to-one for this. However, I did say what I would do is use this video as a guide to my pregnancy and to share my experiences with each of you. So first up, week 22, 5 months. People have been asking me, where's the bump? And lots of people have been asking to see the bump. I haven't been massively public about posting pictures or even spreading news of my pregnancy publicly. But for those who have been asking, we will do a little bump profile. So here I am. As I say, this is me at 5 months. So we've definitely got a bit of a bump now. It is small compared to some people's, but it's definitely there and it's definitely growing. So hooray! And the first thing I wanted to say about that is that everybody is going to be completely different. So please do ignore people's comments. I have been inundated with people saying, oh, are you sure you're as far along as you think you are? And that's a very tiny bump, and all these comments. And I mean, luckily I'm not too worried about this at all. And I had my 20-week scan a couple of weeks ago, and actually the baby is measuring on the slightly larger side of average. Everything's in the 50th percentile and above, so that's all good. So I know the baby's growing fine, but it's going to depend entirely on whether it's your first baby or your second, third, fourth, fifth baby. It depends on the shape of your torso, on your genetics, on the condition of your abs. There are so many different reasons. So, you know, don't let people or people's comments upset you, whether they're saying, like in my case, oh, your bump's really quite small, and I looked so much bigger than that when I was 5 months pregnant, or conversely, if they're saying, oh my goodness, you're massive, are you sure there's not 2 in there, are you sure you're not due next week? Just put all that aside and go with the fact that everybody's going to be different. And that's the first thing I would say. Having gone through the pregnancy thus far, it is amazing what public property you become. So for any first-time mums to be out there like myself, just take it all with a pinch of salt. Then I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about was I said I would give a personal account of my pregnancy, and I'm still undecided as to whether doing that is going to be really helpful for you guys or really not helpful. My role as a health and fitness coach, and especially one who specialises in pre and postnatal health and well-being, is to try and inspire people. So I have to say that other than a bit of illness I had last week, and if you've seen a video from a couple of weeks ago, you'll have noticed I had a really croaky voice, and then I got a sinus infection after that, and because I couldn't take anything, I had a rough week of feeling quite poorly. Unrelated to the pregnancy per se, but obviously being pregnant meant that I wasn't really recovering as quickly as possible, and I wasn't able to take anything to make myself better. But that aside, I have had a really smooth ride of it. I think I said right in my very first video at 14 weeks that I'd had a great first trimester with no nausea, no morning sickness, none of the usual symptoms people get other than the getting up to wee in the middle of the night most nights in that early stage. And as I've progressed through this second trimester, really the last couple of months have gone really swimmingly for me. So as I say, on the one hand, I'm like, that's great, I can share this with people, and it's a good advert for staying fit and healthy in your pregnancy. On the other hand, I worry that people might want to lynch me and say, oh my God, it's not fair. You know, she's not gained a ton of weight, she's not had any of these aches and pains, she's not being nauseous, she's not feeling rough. We hate her, and this is not a normal pregnancy, and we can't listen to her because she's obviously just one of these health and fitness people, and her pregnancy is not normal. So, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. My personal beliefs are that how your pregnancy goes, yes, it's partly down to genetics and probably a little bit of luck, but I do honestly believe that part of the reason I've had a good, healthy, easy, touch wood, easy so far, pregnancy, is because I've looked after myself. You know, I'm healthy, I eat well, I exercise, I listen to my body, and I know what's right and what's wrong. So, you know, I'm hoping that you agree that I'm a good advert and not that I've just had some kind of fluke pregnancy and something that you can't aspire to. Obviously, some people do end up with medical conditions and things that make it much harder to have a smooth pregnancy. But one thing I really want to stress, and this is a real bugbear of mine, is that a lot of people have this opinion that, oh, well, pregnancy is a great time to just forget how to eat healthily and just to use it as a good excuse to eat whatever the heck you like. You're going to get bigger anyway, you might as well enjoy yourself. And whilst I am not saying that you can't touch anything slightly unhealthy during your pregnancy, what I can't stress enough is that you are growing another human being. God, if ever there was a time that you should be looking after yourself, that you should be eating healthily as possible, now is the time. You know, there's a whole little person growing in here, and that person is not going to thrive on cookies and hot chocolates and crappy cereal bars and ready meals and fish and chips, compared to if I feed myself nutritious, healthy foods. And actually, at the stage I'm at the moment, in the 5-month mark, the baby is developing a sense of taste. You know, that baby is beginning to get in tune with the foods I'm eating. So, you know, right now, today, it is the 10th of December. It's Christmas party season. There's a lot of naughty food about. If I just eat junk the whole time, this baby is not going to be fueled properly. So I, you know, at the risk of offending a lot of people out there, I really say, shame on you if you think that pregnancy is a time to eat crap, because it is not. And don't take that the wrong way. Before I, you know, have people running after me with daggers, I'm not saying, oh no, you can't have that little mince pie, you can't have, you know, a hot chocolate while you're out at the Christmas market. I'm not saying that, of course. God, I'll be the first person to admit that when my throat was sore a couple of weeks back, I went out and bought a tub of Haagen-Dazs, anything that was going to ease the pain. Now, I know that Haagen-Dazs is not a healing food, but hey, you know, eating ice cream for a few nights is not going to kill me either. But predominantly, you know, I'm juicing, I'm eating lovely gluten-free porridge when it's cold before I go out to boot camp. I'm having smoothies, I'm having omelettes, I'm having lovely homemade curries. I'm eating well, I'm taking my supplements, because that is ultimately what's going to help me to feel good and to help the baby. So that's my tuppence worth on the nutrition front. On the exercise front, as you know from previous videos, you know, where possible, you should definitely be trying to keep moving. You should be working on strengthening these muscles that are getting weakened. I have not really exercised much in the last week because I've been recovering from this sinus infection and sore throat. So there are a few days where there's no way I would have exercised at all. And then since then, although I feel better, I haven't wanted to overdo things. So other than walking the dogs and keeping kind of my mobility work going, I haven't done a whole lot. And that makes me feel a bit weird. You know, I'm used to working out, but I haven't actually touched my weights, you can see behind me, or anything more strenuous in the last couple of weeks. But, you know, I'll be getting back into that this week now that I'm feeling better. And as I say, I'm still lucky that I've not got a massive bump, that I'm not feeling any pains. On that note, again, just keeping up to date with the personal side of the pregnancy for me, I have had a few twinges in my mid-back, so kind of up here is where I've been feeling the pain. Now, I had an injury that some of you might know about earlier this year before I was pregnant, and sprained my spine, ouch, and it's around that site that's a bit sore, so I think it's a combination of the muscles relaxing and things. So I'm really, it kind of starts to hurt at the end of the day, and then I find it just feels like I need somebody to massage it, and it's just a bit twingy. So I've been having sports massage with somebody who is regularly practiced with working with pregnant women. Do check out your practitioner before going and getting them to prod you while you're pregnant. But that's just helping to try and keep the tissue mobile, get some good oxygen into the muscles and stop everything seizing up, as well as my basic mobility work. But obviously, if you are suffering with any specific pains, you should get them checked out. So speak to your midwife, speak to your GP, get a referral where needed. But yeah, so that's kind of everything from me. I just wanted to give a bit of an update on where I'm at. And yeah, luckily for me, I'm having a really good time with the pregnancy. loved having my 20-week scan and getting to see the baby again. I did not find out the sex, so I don't know if there's a little boy or a little girl in here, but what I do know is that he or she is very healthy, that I'm feeling good, and that, yeah, I really wish everybody could have a pregnancy that goes as smoothly as mine. So do look after yourself, do drop me a line if you have any questions, and I will see you again next week with further updates and then some more specific tips that you can use and take home. Okay, thank you for listening, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you and share your stories. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.